When did the untouchable one finally get handed the bill? My whole family called me the traitor, while my cousin Dominic could do no wrong. So I'm the one who finally brought it all down. Dominic was the pride of that house. Youngest partner at my uncle's firm, engaged to a state senator's daughter, his face on a billboard off the interstate. I was the disappointment who worked at a print shop and asked too many questions at Thanksgiving. I think my aunt knew I felt small, because she'd let me in on things, like a consolation prize. She'd tell me when Dominic wrecked a car and it got handled, when he shoved his fiancée at a wedding and it got explained away. When I was 15 and he broke 2 of my fingers playing around, she wrapped my hand herself and told me not to make a thing of it. Don't be soft, you'll wreck his shot. Last month I saw something I couldn't file away. I'd gone by his place to drop off proofs for the firm's brochures. Side door was open. I heard his fiancée Renata saying, "Stop, please, stop." And I went far enough down the hall to see him with her against the kitchen counter, forearm across her throat, her feet barely on the floor. I filmed 11 seconds of it, then I called 911. He was arrested that night and out on bond before I'd finished my coffee. The next morning I woke to my family loading my things into contractor bags in the driveway of the house I'd been renting a room in, my aunt's house. "You've ruined this family," she screamed. "Do you understand what you've done to him? To all of us?" My uncle just stood there with his arms folded. "1 hour. Don't come back." I still tried to reason with them. I said it wasn't the first time. My aunt said Renata was a social climber and I'd handed her a payday. So I was sitting on the curb at 23 with 3 garbage bags when my phone rang. Renata's older brother, Pierce. He'd heard about the report and wanted to know what I'd actually seen. I couldn't get a full sentence out. He figured out the rest, told me to drop a pin, and pulled up 19 minutes later in a Corolla held together by tape and prayer. We didn't speak on the drive. The second his apartment door shut, Pierce came apart, sat down on the floor with his back against the couch and sobbed. She never told me how bad it got. I should have known. I should have gotten her out. I stood there holding garbage bags, watching a 34-year-old man break in half over his sister, and understood I'd never once seen love look like that in my family. Then his phone rang. Renata, on speaker. "He won't stop. He says if I don't recant, he'll put things out. Pictures. The private ones." Pierce's face emptied. "He sent 30 messages in 2 hours. His father gave him his phone back." Her voice cracked. "He says he knows where you live. He knows I'm probably here." Then she said the thing that changed the room. Small and flat. "Maybe it's easier if I'm just not around for any of this." Nobody breathed. Pierce said very carefully, "Say the rest of that out loud, Ren." She said she was tired. She said she had her keys and didn't know where she'd drive. He said, "Where are you right now?" She said the pharmacy lot on Beaumont. "Put the keys on the passenger seat. Don't drive. I'm 11 minutes out." He handed me the phone. "Stay on with her." So I sat on a stranger's floor and talked to a woman I'd met twice. I told her what I'd seen and that I'd say it to anyone who asked. I told her nobody who mattered was going to hate her. I told her about my fingers at 15 and my aunt's face. Then I said, "There's a number, 988. Call or text. It's yours whether Pierce is there or not." She said, "Okay." She didn't sound like she meant it, but she stayed on the line, and I could hear her breathing, and that was enough for 11 minutes. Pierce brought her back. She slept on that couch for 2 months. Here's what my family didn't account for. The DA's office had 2 prior complaints against Dominic that had evaporated. Witnesses who stopped returning calls. What they'd never had was someone from inside the house. I sat with an investigator for 6 hours. The wrecked car, the wedding, the parties where girls left crying, the checks my aunt wrote and thought I couldn't read, the attorney on speakerphone in her kitchen in 2019. Dominic pled. He lost his license to practice. My uncle's firm lost 2 of its biggest clients and the billboard came down in March. Renata started therapy at 11 weeks and she's still going. She turned 30 in April. Pierce made a cake that was genuinely inedible. She laughed so hard she had to put her fork down. I've been sleeping on that couch for 9 months now. It's the first place I've lived where nobody has told me I'm being too sensitive.